My dear conquering community, welcome to a new podcast. As you can see, this isn't my set. It might look more like a gym if you saw it in the background, but that's because I'm in Dubai with a guest who invited me to her set since we've been wanting to talk for a while. And she is Josephine. Welcome to Conquista tu Mundo.
Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, yes, to your set.
To your set.
It's just incredible that you had it so we could do it, because how long were we trying to do it when you were going to Mexico and we couldn't make it happen?
Yeah, we do it all the time. At the airport or Starbucks. It doesn't matter.
It just didn't happen. And I came this year, 2026, to a content creators summit. And the first person I ran into at the airport, who I had already messaged to meet up, was Jose. And from there, everything just started happening very organically, very nicely. She and Oscar welcomed Karen and me, invited us to brunch, and here we are. Thank you for taking the time, and above all, thank you for helping me bring value to the whole Conquista tu Mundo community. Are you ready?
Let's see how much value I can give.
Courage and a few laughs for sure.
That's for sure. That's easy.
Great. The first question I want to ask you, Jose, because I know there are a lot of people who know you, but there are also a lot of people who know you and maybe don't know your story. Some people in Conquista tu Mundo may not know you, so let's start with the basics and build from there. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Great. First, Jousfit isn't your real name. What's your name?
Actually, almost nobody knows my name because I think I never say it on social media. Not because it's like, oh, but my name is Johanna.
Okay.
Since I was little, they've called me Joe, but Joe wasn't available when I made the account, so I chose Jose, and now everyone calls me Jose.
Great. Did it stick with you?
Yes, but well, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
I doubt anyone on the street will greet you with, "Hi, Johanna," and you never respond that way.
No, not even my husband calls me Johanna. No one. Really no one.
Yeah, that's great. So, Jose, who were you before becoming Josefit? Now, you're a major presence on social media. I know women, including my wife and sisters, admire and follow you, your routines, programs, and proteins. But where does this whole Josefit life begin? And above all, what's behind this whole brand and this fitness that you built that leads you to that? I mean, was there any pain, any shame? How did you start getting into this world?
It's funny because I never thought to be an influencer. I mean, it was like the last thing I wanted to be. I mean, I didn't plan it because there are people who say, I want to be one. And I was like, no, that's not in my plans. I mean, just no, simply no. I went to live in the United States to take care of 2 kids. I was a nanny. And when I came back about 15 kilos heavier. And I was like, oh, wow. This isn't part of me anymore. It has to go. Because I was about to start college and I said, okay, time to look for some guys, but how am I going to win anyone over with these cheeks, you know? I was 19 years old.
Okay.
Or 20? So I said, before college, I need to see a nutritionist. I can't start with these cheeks. I just didn't feel comfortable, right? I visited a nutritionist because many of my friends were super buff. I told them I wanted the nutritionist who helps you get buff, not skinny. So, well, they gave me the number and I went, and when I got there, the nutritionist was...
He was handsome.
Well, he's sitting right next to you.
This was him. Let the unlucky guy come in.
I chose the person, not the diet.
We're starting to understand now?
No, but anyway, X gave me a diet and I actually tried it. Like telling my little jokes and stuff. And the other guy, okay, how much? I don't know what. What about me? Oh, anyway, the thing is that I started working out and stuff. And I'm not kidding, after a month, I already had those 2 lines here on my abs showing. And I was like, wow, I like this. So that's when I started to fall in love with the fitness life. I was like, okay, this is for me. I mean, I had always tried a lot of different exercises, like tennis, track and field, all kinds of workouts. I didn't like any of them, but I liked seeing results at the gym. And that's when I became passionate about it.
But we could say that it started because she wanted to be attractive or for health reasons. I mean, was there someone...
I felt rejected.
From men at that age? Like they don't notice me, ask me to dance or invite me?
No, not really, but I've always been very skinny, like a stick. Actually, I was bullied a lot when I had really skinny legs, which was up until I was 18.
Okay.
Before I gained weight, but then I went overboard and gained too much this year, so I didn't feel comfortable anymore. I was uncomfortable with being too skinny than with gaining weight, but never because of men. Still, I didn't really want to go to college without feeling like myself because I gained weight so quickly.
You achieve it with your nutritionist, now husband, which we'll get to in a moment.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll discuss it. The consultation was pricey, right? And you managed to reach a point that you like and you get hooked on fitness.
Yes, that's when I became passionate about working out. I thought if this works, I should stick with it. Why stop now? As months passed, 5 or 6, I kept attending appointments, lost weight, and everything went well. And then this is where Oscar comes into the story. Because he suddenly calls me and hangs up, and I'm wondering why. I thought, I'm doing fine with my diet, so why is he bothering me? You are not disrupting.
He is supervising.
He already caught me that yesterday I went for tacos. Well, just like that. I called him and said, you called me today? No, wait, yes, he did. I said, I don't believe you. So we kept talking. We went to the company and he bought a gift for his dad.
But did he say to you, hey, come with me, or what? I mean, how did you feel that he started including you in his plans or invited you to go out?
He just told him, hey, tomorrow is my dad's birthday. Would you like to come with me to pick something out for him?
And did it start to feel normal to you?
Yes, it was like, okay, besides, I mean, I didn't really feel like having a boyfriend, so I was very much myself because I was like, huh?
How were the appointments? They were very friendly and there was chemistry.
Right? Oscar was very serious, almost stuck up.
Oh, really? Didn't you feel weird? Like, what's happening? How did he change from that? Super? No?
Well, I mean, I'm super social, right? But honestly, I consider myself a very social person. And I talk to pretty much anyone. I think you're just like me, aren't you?
Yeah, we relate to each other on that.
At that time in my life, I had a lot of friends, mostly guys rather than girls.
Okay.
I don't know, like, I think, let's see, I can be feminine. My followers will say, no, she's such a tomboy, but I really like hanging out with guys. I don't know.
Like, it's more light.
I'm not really into gossip and coffee and manicures, my friend. No, that's right. No, okay, I'm not really into that.
Which city were you in during all this? You were already in Mexico, right?
Huh?
Where did the appointment and all this happen? You had already returned to the United States, so where were you?
In Mexico.
In Mexico? And then they started there talking to you and saying, come with me because you're going to celebrate my dad's birthday.
We started dating, but I didn't want a boyfriend then. I was in my I'm young phase, enjoying life in all directions. Oh no, that sounded really bad.
It sounded really good.
I'm a rock star. How bad is that? But don't get me wrong, I started going out with him and one house led to another. We laughed constantly and became a couple. Then Oscar said, love, start recording yourself. You have a great vibe and essence. You could inspire people. And I was like, oh no, I really don't want to record myself, you know? No way. I used to think of influencers as just the perfect figure, you know, the influencer type. So I didn't see myself as someone with the perfect pose and perfect clothes. And I looked at my life and I thought, well, my life isn't perfect. So, like, no. So he told me that's exactly what you need to record. I mean, record yourself just as you are. So I started recording myself with my hair all messy, my eyes all sweaty, soaked in horrible clothes. I mean, just as I am, like I train wearing t-shirts, the ones they give you at campaigns.
I can relate to you on that one too.
So, Oscar would tell me, record all of that love. So of course I started recording it and people started to like it because at that time there was only the perfect influencer. That's when I really grew because I embraced who I am. If someone didn't like it, they didn't have to follow me. But that's what people liked.
And all of this was already on Instagram. You didn't start on Facebook or any other platform before it was Instagram.
Yes, Instagram.
Okay, and people started to like it. How old were you, more or less?
It wasn't that long ago. I was about 22.
Are you 28 or 29?
29.
That was 7 years ago.
Yes, more or less.
Okay, and you start posting about your life. Were you already Oscar's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay, and was he already part of your content too?
Okay.
And when did you start to get a bit more professional in fitness? I mean, what started happening there?
Well, I always had a problem where I would always get bloated. I mean, I used to say I'm the only crazy one who eats something and gets bloated. So I used to tell Oscar, imagine making a product that could help me with this, and if it works, it could help a lot of people. So we started working on this with a lot of people by our side. I mean, getting help from many experts. It took us years, and actually, this is the product. It's not advertising, but it's really part of the story.
Yes.
We began with the formulation because I wanted this product to help me. Because honestly, I would eat something and my stomach would get so bloated. And I would say, well, this isn't cool because you get motivated when you see your physical results, but then you eat something and my stomach is already bloated again. So, where's the fitness in that, right? You had your abs showing and it's kind of frustrating. Nowadays, I see that it's very common among women, but back then, many years ago, I didn't know it was common. You kind of start getting into that world, right? And after about 3 years of formulation and finally getting all the permits and certifications, because it's not like you just launch a supplement and that's it. So the idea is to be, how do you say, like with a protective shell, the product works. Because, well, you're already a public figure. Yes, people may talk about you or spread hate however they want, but if you say, here are the certifications, the permits, everything is legal, so that the product works and you know it's quality. It took us a long time, and I feel like that's when we started to formalize the brand. Because we launched the product, which is actually called Jousfit for You, and the product started to move. A lot of people were experiencing what I was, so I shared my changes with them. Others began sharing their progress too, and that's when a brand started forming around Josefit.
This was all still in Mexico, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I see you and Oscar are in the same field and have been working together until today. But how do you deal many times with this possible competition of like, hey, so how are we doing with followers? And why is it called Joe's Fit and not Oscar Fit, my product? I mean, how have you dealt with that or what happened there? Maybe you can tell us how you got through it. Because a lot of couples obviously have businesses together, and many times they don't really know how to separate that common good and build it together. Instead, they end up with a lot of friction and end up ruining everything. How has that process been for you?
I like this question because the rest is just about me.
First, we'll introduce the brand, then dive in.
I like it because I've always said that a marriage should be a team. I mean, if there's no team. I feel like it's a little harder to have good communication, a good relationship. Oscar and I share everything. What's his is mine and vice versa. We even have a joint bank account, so it's not separate money. I mean, we're a team, we want to build something together. And in the end, all of this, it's for our little ones, right? Oscar always said from the start he would support Jousfit no matter what, even if it didn't help his own account. So Oscar was like, no, my love. I mean, if I don't have time to record, it doesn't matter to me. I'll record you. And Oscar always supported me so much, and he's the pillar of Jousfit. So on the outside, we see a face that is me, but on the inside, it's Oscar and the whole team, right? In fact, a lot of people don't know there's a team behind the scenes, of course. But yes, if it weren't for Oscar, the brand couldn't have grown so much.
Yes, I mean, he's the businessman behind the celebrity image or something like that. We could say that.
Well, we've really always worked hand in hand. I mean,
since you started dating and got engaged, did you discuss these things or did they just happen? Because things like what you mentioned, like having a bank account, are usually very sensitive things. I mean, it's money, it's survival, it's something that people generally have problems with.
well, sometimes it's like, what if I make more or he makes more? And it's like, well, I'm putting in, I don't know, 80% and you're only putting in 20. Uh-huh, but really? Oh, I forgot. What was the question?
Can you repeat the question, Professor? I mean, how did this agreement come about? Was it discussed in detail, like with Excel and everything? Or was it something really organic? Because usually couples have a lot of conflict over money issues. And who's going to be the provider, right?
Initially, we had separate accounts for our earnings. I would sometimes ask him, can you lend me money? I want to invest in this. I was supposed to pay him back, but honestly, I never did. Eventually, I became stressed, wondering what to do with the money in my account and what steps to take next. So I said, you know what, love? I trust you completely. You take it, invest it. I mean, because I didn't even know what to do, so that's when I said I'm getting desperate. It's better if he manages the finances since we both contribute money to the account.
Both contribute, but he's mainly the administrative leader, though they discuss things together. But you, for example, if you want to take something, you just take it and spend whatever without calculating it. Or do you have budgets? Did you set up budgets?
Well, honestly, I don't really spend much, to be honest. I mean, I'm not someone who makes impulsive purchases or like, oh, I'm going to go out and buy something, you know? Honestly, I'm not extravagant. Everything I have was gifted to me by Oscar. Oscar, on the other hand,
Let the unlucky guy come in again, says Oscar behind the scenes. That the one who divides and distributes keeps the biggest share. Yes, no doubt, and also the satisfaction of seeing his wife happy, super beautiful, super fulfilled. No doubt.
no, but that's for him.
He buys it for himself. Yes, yes, okay, I thought he was giving it to you.
No, son, but look, the truth is that nothing is wrong. I mean, obviously, these are responsible expenses. We're never going to spend more than we can afford. I mean, we do have a rule that 10% of our income goes to things we enjoy. Everything else gets invested.
That's really good. And I mean, do you see yourselves as a marriage, a business, like a company, you could say, beyond the emotional side, the couple, and the personal support? Could you say, from what I'm hearing, that you manage your marriage like a business, like towards the...
If we split, the company ends.
It seems you both share the same goal. Let me give some context, since my question may have been tricky. I know that marriages should, ideally, seek the common good, have shared goals, and build a project together, and how to be a team, as you said so well at the beginning, in order to achieve all those goals. Many people listening to us and society in general often see us more as enemies than allies. They go around afraid, always calculating each other, and even though they sleep together, they're very separated in life. It's like they're not working together as allies to achieve their happiness. Instead, what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine, but since I'm the provider, I control you. There's a lot of that, eh? Like a lot of layers of ego between couples. So in what way could you today, or could you at the microphone, share some valuable insights? How can I put it? Look, what has worked for me is such and such a thing, to trust him well or talk about things a lot. How did you achieve such real team agreement? It might look like magic, but that's not true, right?
Yeah, no, let's see. Well, honestly, Oscar and I are people who talk a lot. I mean, a lot. So we always had good times now because we already have Loretta and 2 cars and so on, but we always tried. You know what? Let's put the phone aside and just talk, you and me. So sometimes the night would catch up with us. It's already like 3 in the morning and we're still talking. I tell him, honey, let's stop talking, but we still talk a lot. I think that, well, we always hear everywhere that communication is key, but it really is key. And also, what you said about having roles in the relationship, I think here there are no roles in the relationship. There are no roles. If it's my turn, if it's Oscar's turn, honestly, we're really good friends. I think you have to have a friendship with your partner, and you have to be interested in the things he does and the life he leads. Here we do the same, but I have many friends who do other things. For example, I don't know, he could be into politics, and you, as a woman, might say, no, I can't stand politics. Well, your marriage is going to be really difficult because at the end of the day, that's his life, you know? So I was really interested in Oscar's life, so I was always like, hey, honey, and when we're oxidizing fat, what's happening inside your body? And there you see me, you see the mitochondria cell, and I don't know what else. He explained everything to me, and I was really interested in everything. So today, everything I know about nutrition is because of him, but it's because I was really interested in his life, so I got involved in his life, and I did that a lot. Right. In my family, we were always a family of entrepreneurs. My parents taught me to work for as long as I can remember. My parents never gave me any money. For example, when I was 5, I'd ask my dad to buy me something and he'd say, no, use your own money. So even at 5, he'd ask if I wanted to earn money. So they made me work. I mean, they were like, pretend jobs. I get it, just for fun.
The cookies?
I baked brownies and spent afternoons selling them to neighbors for 5 pesos. I was always selling things, and they even used the money to buy my school uniform. I mean, my parents didn't buy me the uniform. My parents didn't buy me anything, not because they didn't have money, but because they said, we want her to learn how to earn and understand the value of money.
I really understand that because my parents raised me the same way, so I get that part. But for the people listening who might say, oh, that's so much stress for a child, what would you say to them? A child shouldn't be, no?
No. I wasn't stressed. I'm a very happy person, and today I'm so grateful for it. As a child, I loved selling things and being able to say, today I made 80 pesos. It was exciting because I grew up with that, but if you didn't, it might seem frustrating. A child needs to play, but you might not realize that for them, playing felt like, wow, I'm doing it. I mean, I felt capable of convincing an adult to buy me a candy. Of course, the adult was buying it out of affection, right? I thought I really was convincing them, right? But my parents always praised me, saying it's not easy to sell so well. You sold 80 pesos. I was amazed. And, well, when I had my things, I valued them. So, really, I believe children aren't stressed except for those like the woman and kids begging for 8 hours in the sun. Well, it's completely different, but we're talking about a situation in a family where money isn't lacking. Of course, thank God, but they taught me to have my own money.
And they presented it to you as a game, as if you do this, you will get the reward.
Of course.
The prize?
Super stuttering, yes, yes. But going back to the initial question, which was,
Of Oscar and me, right? And how did you consolidate as that team? That now, well, from what you're telling us, it's like, well, super organic and super, we trust each other above all. You know what, Joss? I think there's a lot of fear nowadays in couples about giving themselves. I mean, there's a lot of fear of, hey, I give myself, but I hope I don't get hurt. Or I give myself and we open an account together. And that idea sounds really great. But what if they steal from me, disappoint me, or take my money? These are just fears. I have students I see every week who've experienced things like that. So how did Jos intuitively know that he could give himself in this relationship? What was happening with you, your self-esteem and your view of Oscar, that led you to make these decisions? Because, well, it's not easy. There are a lot of fears, a lot of narratives mixed in, right?
well, I think I could tell you, like, look, you have to get to know the person. I know that sometimes people turn things around on you and you say, oh, wow, I didn't know this was going to happen to me, because I think it always happens. I mean, actually, in families, usually families split up because of money. But I've never been, even though they taught me to make money, to produce, to be a businesswoman, and so on, I've never been very attached to money, as I said. I don't spend much. I'm not attached to money. Like Oscar says, I'm funny. I like making money, but once I have it, I don't care.
I think you do it more for the process than the reward.
A lot of people chase money and sometimes they get lost because they're always chasing and chasing, but I don't do it for that. For me, what fulfills me is, for example, the satisfaction of seeing someone, a person, join the challenge. I feel fulfilled by seeing the change from a serious face to a happy face. I mean, it fills me with excitement to see the process. So, well, the reward, of course, is a reward. And what I was getting at is, what would happen if Oscar took everything or if the other couple took everything? I believe money comes and goes. I don't have an attachment. I mean, I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart. I don't have an attachment to money. Just like it was created once, I think it can be created again. I believe that God and my parents gave me the skills to create it again, so I'm not afraid of that. I tell Oscar to put the properties in your name, just like with all our investments. In your name, I wouldn't mind. Maybe it's not the smartest thing, right? Don't follow that advice. Still, half and half, but a lot of people would be like, no, 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 in my name. If we get divorced, well, I already won. I get to keep the house, right? But anyway, I think I'm a very positive person and I never think about the negative. I would never think like, what if we get divorced? I mean, that doesn't even cross my mind.
You trust yourself and him a lot. That's just how it is.
Let's see if something good happens. Oh, well. I know how to make money again, but I don't know. It's just that getting involved in things like that means they'll take you for a ride with your money. Yes?
Yeah, the control.
Are you here for the money or because you love me?
And so I say your relationship isn't 50-50. It's more like both of you put money in and then it's distributed from there. Or how would you describe it? That is why I called it a business relationship, because it's trendy. Relationships should be equal emotionally and financially. But men, I prefer being the provider. I'd like the woman to contribute then. It's cool, this new perspective, because that's how I see it. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but it's like it's for the common good and we both work because we want to and we can. But if one day you want to take a step back and do something else, like paint, Oscar won't let you go, right? So it's like it's going to be there and it's going to provide, or am I wrong?
Well, let's see. Oscar really likes to provide, but I feel like it's just his personality. I mean, he's very chivalrous. Well, no woman says no, of course. I mean, a lot of people say no, 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 that it's 50-50. But Oscar has always been whatever the princess wants. Honestly, I like that. I have no problem with it. I mean, a lot of people say no, that women can work too. Yes, but now that I'm a mom, honey, you work more. I enjoy staying at home. I mean, I'm enjoying it. washing the clothes, folding them, taking care of my daughter. I mean, it's a moment when I say, oh, thank God Oscar can provide, you know? Because I want to spend more time with Loretta.
And Joes, has motherhood connected you with a new part of yourself, or was it something you'd felt before? Did you always want to be a mom, or is it something you're just now discovering?
No, I always wanted to be a mom. I mean, when I was little and they asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Others might say firefighter or similar, but I always said mom.
Are you living your dream today?
My baby grew up so fast, I already want another one.
I think it's a problem in quotes that's very common among parents who see their babies grow up so fast because they really do grow up quickly. That's why it's important to be fully present and enjoy the moment. If you work all the time, you miss seeing your kids grow up. They grow up in daycare. I get it since people say, well, I have to work. People say you're speaking from privilege, but it's really about finding ways to be as present as possible, right?
Yes, yes, of course.
Now that you're a mom, Jos, you went through a process of, well, stepping back a bit from working out, slowing down your pace a little, right? Making money and working out. How has this process been for you, both emotionally and physically, being at the peak of fitness? And now, being a woman who needs to go through childbirth and postpartum, has it affected you emotionally?
It's been really hard, mostly because of social media comparisons, which I think is normal. No matter how much they tell you not to compare yourself on social media, because that's the message that nowadays all the influencers and everyone say, don't compare yourself, and that's perfect. However, we're human and we compare ourselves in everything. That person is successful, that person is the same age as me and is doing this. She is already married, already has one, and it's normal because we are human.
Yes.
So it did hit me hard, but not so hard that like, oh, depression, you know? I was amazed at how quickly people had babies and recovered. How do they lose their bellies so fast? So in that sense, it was a whole challenge. Mentally, like, okay, I'm not one of those women with privileged genetics. I realized I had to work hard for it. But aside from the physical aspect, which is hard, for example, the mental part of having to tone down my lifestyle, because obviously being fit and being pregnant don't really go together. In other words, there are two sides to fitness, the aesthetic side and the wellness side, or fitness and wellness. It's mainly about two groups, those who exercise for health and those focused on appearance, low body fat and high muscle. So I was more focused on the fitness part, which is the aesthetic side because of my defined abs and all that. I got pregnant, but I always wanted to get pregnant. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh no, I got pregnant, now what do I do? No, it was the opposite. We really tried hard to get pregnant. Okay, so I got pregnant. You have to cut back on physical activity since you can't train like before, especially because I was a high performance athlete. You have to lower all the weights. Instead of lifting 80 kilos, now you lift 8. It feels like just a warm-up, but this is your new workout. And for me, mentally, it was like, how? But it was always like, but she's my baby now, of course. I mean, I don't think about losing her. There's just no way. So I did slow down during those 9 months. There are women who don't slow down. It scares me, and in my next pregnancy, I'll do the same. I'll slow down completely because you won't risk your baby just for big glutes. I don't see the point. So I really slowed down a lot and lost a lot of muscle mass. So I felt like, but I'm Jousfit and I'm not even fit anymore. So I created Jousfat. No, it wasn't Jousfat.
That brand is going to be very popular, huh? Yeah, really very good. Future burgers.
Yes, yes.
Josefat.
We got it. Okay, but you understand that everything in life is a process, right? Just as I changed my body before, I can do it again. What did I say about money? If I made it once, I can make it again, right?
That's basically what you teach.
And a lot of people would say to me, but how are you going to get pregnant with that body? And I was like, of course, and not just once, 4 times. And if God allows me 5 times, I mean, I don't know. I think it's very selfish for people to stop having children because of their body.
Yeah, and they stop having kids, or they don't breastfeed, or a lot of things.
They don't breastfeed because they're afraid their breasts will sag, but it's your baby's health. Do you know how many benefits breast milk has for your baby? I mean, there are so many things that I think maybe, I don't know if you talk a lot about religion. I believe in God, and I feel like God plays a big role in your life here because you are. I believe God rewarded me with something so great, with the greatest miracle of all, which is a child, that I have to give them my body, my life, my breast, everything I can because God gave them to me. How can I say no? Because my breasts might sag, I might gain weight or get stretch marks, so maybe I shouldn't get pregnant. I don't know. Sometimes we need to be grateful and realize how privileged we are.
While you feel this privilege and gratitude, how do people on social media react? Do they support you, or is there resistance about your body changing? How has that experience been?
I thought it was going to be like I was going to get pregnant. I already knew I was going to lose muscle mass. Obviously, I said, well, no. I mean, my engagement, or whatever you want to call it, is going to go down the drain. The response was incredible. All the women supported me more than ever. I expected hate and was ready for it, but it never came. Here comes the backlash, but no, everyone supported me like, wow, a mom working out, that's incredible. All these beautiful women, really. I was like, so much support. I never thought that would happen, but the only hate I got was from men. Men were giving me hate for working out while pregnant.
Why do you think that was?
I think it's because, well, they don't really know much about pregnancy.
They likely followed you for physical reasons, right?
No, I barely have any male followers. I think the men who do follow me are just the husbands or boyfriends of my female followers. Yeah, or those who like men. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. They were comments from outsiders, but it was like, well, I mean, if outsiders throw hate at me, it's no big deal. I mean, it's like, oh, you don't even know me.
And how do you see the future of Jousfit? I mean, because right now you've started your motherhood, and well, as far as I can see, for women, it's like the production starts and doesn't stop during that time. It depends on how many kids you want to have, but you end up being pregnant for quite a while, right? And then there are these cycles where maybe you recover and then again and again. What do you see there for yourself? How do you see this?
Well, look, seeing all the support from people, I wouldn't think twice or three times about getting pregnant. I'm not going to let others' decisions determine my life. It's mine. If you think it's cool, great. If not, that's fine. I can easily picture myself at Jousfit. I'm considering getting pregnant in a year and a half, then again after that, and maybe the next one a bit sooner. Because I do want to have 4 children then.
You want 4 kids? Have you discussed that with Oscar? Yes, that's the number we agreed on.
When we were dating, he said he didn't want kids, and I said I didn't want to get married. After we married, he still said he didn't want to. No, look, never give up. Persevere and you'll succeed.
Yes, yes, been there, done that, yes, totally. Men have a certain resilience.
People don't change. No, honey, they change a lot. I mean, all it takes is a wink.
He went from not wanting kids to wanting 4.
Now he wants 5. If it were up to him, he'd fill the whole school.
What is causing that change? Is it because things are going well between you two? Because you're in Dubai where people often have many kids? Or is it a new perspective forming? The Infante family?
Oh, it's just that when you see Larita's little eyes and her smile, you say, what a beautiful baby, I want more.
Yes, honestly, we had the honor and pleasure of meeting and holding her. I want to confess that Karen used her as a weapon to say, love, you can already tell, you want one, she's beautiful, yes, she's precious.
Well, everyone who is a parent will understand me, but the love you feel for your children is immense. I know a lot of people say, no, just one, it's too hard. But these are the kinds of challenges I like in life. I like challenges. People say abs are hard to get, but I want them, so I go for it. If losing weight is tough, I pursue that too. I mean, don't give me easy things in life, challenge me. Because if not, living in the comfort zone just dulls me, it makes me feel bored. I mean, don't make things easy for me in life, challenge me. Otherwise, I'll just live in my comfort zone. That kind of turns me off. It's like, what a drag. I believe life needs challenges since it's about constantly moving up. Some people, however, just don't want to advance. That's fine. Some people are comfortable staying at the same level forever. Some say, I don't want first place, I'm fine with 5th. If you don't want it, step aside, because I do. I mean, I'm really competitive, but I like competition because it shows me that I can achieve it.
But what happens when you don't make it? How do you manage frustration over unachieved goals? How has it gone for you?
I think the frustration is going to sound like, oh, how positive. I mean, how do you say positive, toxic, or what? Positivity, toxic, toxic, positivity, eh? Frustration is part of the process because it helps you grow. If there's no frustration, if there's no pain, if there are no battles in your life, if there's nothing that really gets to you, if there's nothing that tells you, you have to grow because look, it's gonna catch up with you from behind. I mean, you don't grow. So you have two ways. You have two, oh, I lost my train of thought. You have two options. Either you take the frustration and let yourself go down, or you stay there and say, I'm going to go to therapy, or you take the frustration and say, I'm going to use this frustration to turn it into what I want to achieve because I'm not going down. I want to keep growing, especially for my daughter, to leave her more and ensure she has a more comfortable life. I want to keep growing as a person because it's useless otherwise. I have mental problems, but well, we just turn off our minds and move on. No, face them, get through them. For example, when my mom passed away, it wasn't like, well, I just turn around and nothing happens. No, face it. Go through the grieving process, as some losses take years to heal. And I'm not telling people who are grieving for many years that it's a bad thing. My dad still struggles with that loss. I tell him, Dad, confront your grief and open the little box.
Yeah, like don't suppress it.
And don't suppress it, because that grief can last you 10 years. Obviously, it's going to hurt terribly, and I'm not going to tell you it won't. But it's the only way to be able to keep moving forward. Because otherwise, my dad won't be able to start a new relationship with someone. I would love for someone to come into his life so he isn't alone. But for now...
Could you handle that? Just as a side note.
It's about his happiness, not mine.
I love that answer. Is that why you'd say yes?
If he falls in love, I will come to love her. Never like I love my mom, obviously. But what I want is to see him happy. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Don't hold back your feelings, okay? Yes, I think you have two options.
Many of my followers give me the honor of discussing these topics with people like you. Exactly. Grief is one of the most important topics. When you say face grief, in what way does Joseph face it? How did he face it, or in what way? From your experience, can you recommend to people how to face grief, whether it's for a family member, an ex, something, or a place? Because you went through several losses, you left Mexico, you lost your mother. I'm sure you've also had failed relationships and failed businesses. How do you face that and achieve that resilience? Because many people who are listening to us right now need this kind of clarity in their storm.
Look, when it comes to losing a relative when they pass away, it's a bit more complicated because it depends on how they died and the whole context. How close were you? Everything, right? In my case, my mom had cancer and she lived with cancer for 9 years. So I had two options: cry and ask, why did my mom have to go? Or let's see, I cried, but I was seeing it negatively. Why did God take her? Why her? Because I feel that when a relative dies, and this really hit me hard. A friend came and told me, you're at a moment where you're going to have a lot of questions, but you won't have answers. And I said, wow, that's true. So I had two options: ask myself those questions and get frustrated with life, like why did this happen to my mom, or why her? Or I could see it differently and say, thank you God for taking her so she no longer suffers. So you have two options. The selfish one, since she's here for your enjoyment. That person was no longer enjoying life and was suffering. It's about my dad. I want him to have a partner, but only so that he can be happy. So my mom really is... I can admit I just want you here with me, and I get frustrated because she's gone, but her life wasn't really a life anymore. She had no lifestyle left. So on this side, I see it as a thank you God for giving me 9 years with cancer. You could have taken her after 6 months. What if they said your mom had only 6 months left? Some cancers, like pancreatic cancer, are very aggressive. Or there are some that hit really hard and really fast and people are gone very quickly and they tell you, well, in 4 months. Well, thank you, God, for giving me 4 more months. You could have taken my mom away from me. Just like that, in an accident, it's over. But people don't see that. People only see the negative side of situations, and they might call me the toxic positive one. I believe that's the only way to be happy.
And also what you're saying is, let's take off the victim glasses, like, oh, the world is conspiring against me, everyone is to blame for what happens to me, and the world is against me. Let's put on more objective and grateful glasses and say, okay, life also includes death. There are losses, tough times, and bitter moments, but also sweet ones. I got to share this experience with that person and spend more time with my mom, getting to know them both better. So I think your answer is beautiful because it talks about how it hurts, how you cry, how it's difficult. Eventually, you have to stop crying, get up, and move on. Because your life goes on and you need to look at the things you experienced with gratitude because, in a way, you lived through those experiences. If not, you wouldn't be here. That's life, sweet and bitter, right?
Yes, life is what happens while you wait, so you decide whether to wait crying, wait calmly, or wait happily. Obviously, it's not easy to be happy when you have a loss of any kind, whether it's your ex, your partner, or whatever. But you have to learn to cheer yourself on, right? A lot of people who are doing great go to therapy, and I think that could be an excellent option. What I did was grab a notebook, and Oscar would say to me, "My love, but it's like rubbing salt in the wound." And I would say, "But I need it." I grabbed a notebook and wrote down all the beautiful memories with my mom when she told me that. When we did this, when we went running, well, we never actually went running, but when we went to the park to play, I'm not sure, just all my experiences with her. When I finished the book, I thought about how wonderful my experiences with her were and felt grateful for all the time she gave me.
Yes.
Instead of repressing it, my dad turned the photos face down and still hasn't looked at pictures of my mom. He says seeing her hurts too much.
Ugh.
Writing this book was so hard for me. I would write a word and cry. There are tears on every page. I said I need to focus on the best things about my mom, not the anger and frustration over her death. Why did it have to happen to her? So I'm not saying that's the solution. Maybe for a lot of people, writing this hurts. It hurts terribly, but it helped me a lot.
And I want to add to what you're saying because it's beautiful. Journaling, keeping a diary, or writing anything is the number one way to let things out. Second, it helps you gain the proper perspective of gratitude we discussed and allows you to feel your pain. That's an important point you mentioned. Pain doesn't come to punish you for something you've experienced or to make you suffer in this life. What pain does is give you a message that there's a process you have to go through to close a cycle, to learn lessons, to grow as a person, and also sometimes to let go of certain things, because otherwise, if you don't, they'll weigh you down a lot and you won't be able to move forward. So when you provide the contrast, which is valid, each person has their own process between you and your dad, and probably you, because of your age, have more tools than previous generations. And well, it's not the same. Also, the wife. It can be very complicated, but your dad taking down the photos, not wanting to feel, and so he doesn't allow himself to go through the grieving process. And it's likely that he'll live with that burden his whole life. And you, even though you'll always live with your mom in your heart, at least you closed the cycle of pain because you allowed yourself to feel it back then. This is something really valuable for the people who are listening to us, because many times we don't want to feel pain and it seems like the easiest option. Like, I just don't want to feel. So I numb myself with alcohol, obsess over the gym, go from bed to bed, or turn to food. But you're just giving momentary gratification to a pain that you need to heal, right? So with this, I want to connect to another topic, but without going too deep into it. But people who are going through things like eating disorders and things like that, have you ever been in one? What would you recommend to help them start getting out of that situation, since they likely need time to process it?
It's a very sensitive topic on social media. I never had any eating disorder. However, I was very skinny and people thought I had anorexia because I was skin and bones. I was just very tall and didn't eat well. I would tell you it's just my genetics, but now phenotype isn't the same as genotype. It's more about the environment. So it means that whatever you do will impact your body, okay? How much you move, how much you don't move, what you eat, what you don't eat. So I realized it's not my genetics, it's that I'm eating really badly, I'm not nourishing my body. I would eat just chicken a day and a lot of fruit, and I would eat a lot. I used to say I was a skinny girl who ate a lot but never gained weight, but actually I just ate poorly. So what I'm getting at with the topic of eating disorders, nowadays a lot of emotions are suppressed through food. I'm bored, so I eat. I'm stressed, so I eat. Anxious, so I eat. Angry, so I eat. Or I quit smoking and it makes me anxious, so I eat, or vice versa. I feel sad, then I don't eat anymore like I used to because I feel fat, then I don't eat anymore. Then People think the quick way is to stop eating to get skinny, for example. Let's talk about both topics, right? One way is, okay, if I stop eating, I'll get skinny. And that's the worst path you can take. And not just because of health issues, obviously, that's clear. But if you really want to see results, honey, that's the worst path you can take. Why? Because if you're not eating, your body wonders, what should I do? Let me think. I was going to say this girl isn't giving me food, so what should I do? We have muscle and fat, but the muscle is useless to us. So your body starts consuming muscle, leaving you with little muscle and more fat, making you skinny and scrawny, which is when many illnesses occur. I mean, for example, in the future, if you don't have muscle, you fall, it's very easy to break a bone. Muscles are what protect us from breaking something. And in Mexico, the main cause of death in older adults is when they break their hip from falling because they don't have muscle. You'll often see elderly people at the gym because doctors recommend strength training to maintain muscle. And if they fall, since that's what most of them die from, the elderly won't die, of course. So, well, on that note, your body will say, well, honey, goodbye to muscle because you're not giving me any food. So this isn't useful for us here. The less muscle you have, the slower your metabolism is. The more muscle you have, your metabolism works faster than with more fat. No, so to speak, it's not that we have to say it in the correct terms because then people start to get picky about it. Basically, having more muscle speeds up your metabolism, right? And on the other hand, what people say is, well, I'm bored, so I eat. Because it happens to me too. Do you think so? Is it that she's perfect? She doesn't eat? She's so disciplined, right? I used to eat lots of sweets, disliked exercise, and opposed the fitness lifestyle. I always refused when my ex-boyfriends wanted to work out together, saying no and wondering why we should. Not even if you paid me, you have to eat it, right? No way. And I used to eat sweets every day. Sweet, sugar, sugar, sugar. I love sugar. I even had boxes of chocolates under my bed. So what I'm getting at is a lot of people say, I eat out of frustration, I eat out of boredom, I eat out of stress, I eat because of this. And we don't realize that in the end, it's a vicious circle. You start like that, and then you say, oh, well, poof, I'm chubby, it's fine, I keep eating. Oh, well, what's this going to do to me? And then you see on social media, accept and love yourself as you are. It's a sensitive topic, but we'll discuss it here because we aren't afraid of success. Yes, what's going on? A lot of people say, accept yourself just as you are, love yourself, and the answer is, The answer is, I love myself, I mean, I really like myself, great, I mean, for real. I say I'm such a cool person, I love myself, but that doesn't mean I can't like a part of my body. I mean, for example, I just don't like my wrinkles. Don't go getting Botox, okay? No, you can't get it, but why not? I want to look prettier. No, it's just accept yourself, but people don't talk about that. I don't like my teeth, get braces. No, just leave them crooked. Or why wear makeup? I don't know any women, well, very few who hardly wear any makeup, well, who don't wear any makeup at all. You wear makeup to look prettier, right? Of course. So why can't you also do something for your body to feel and look prettier?
Of course, and here it's good that you bring up that topic because there was a trend that became very, very unpopular. In fact, I think it has already disappeared, which was the body positive movement. There are nuances like you don't need to be extremely fit to accept yourself and wear a swimsuit. Up to that, I agreed.
Yes, that's fine.
Where I don't agree is when you're already creating overweight problems or issues. I mean, I don't know the scientific or medical names, and calling that body positive and self-love just because I accept myself. So what would those be, Jos? Like the limits on both sides? I mean, how much is working out really self-love? And where does it stop being self-love and become an addiction to being super ultra fit and taking everything? And when is it actually self-love, accepting yourself with your 2 or 3 love handles that many of us have? And where is it no longer healthy? I mean, what do those extremes look like? How would that look?
That's a really good question because I feel like that's why these two sides exist. People saying that that's fat phobia or this or that. The thing is, having extra weight isn't good for your health. It's bad for your knees, for your blood pressure, for your cholesterol. It's really not good. Simply put, your little heart is like this. But if you have obesity, if you're overweight, it's surrounded by pure fat, so it keeps it from beating properly. And why do heart attacks happen? It's because the arteries get blocked, right? So people who say, no, I'm totally fine with my 330 pounds, that's not true. So it's not okay to accept yourself when you're already at an extreme because it's like the opposite. Love yourself so much that you want to invest in your body. Of course, because your body is the only thing you have to take you through life, to a long life, to live many years. Longevity. So it's like both on this side and on that side. If you weigh 30 kilos, you won't live very long at that weight. It's not healthy for you. So you have to be at a middle point, which is what you were saying. And what is the point where it's acceptance? The healthy point, that's the point, the healthy point. Because what's happening nowadays is that this trend is fading, but it's still common. It's just that I'm healthy at this weight. No, that's not true. Get yourself checked out and you'll see that it's not healthy. Or let's say you're healthy right now, but what about in the future? As I said, you fall and break something if you lack muscle.
As long as you're healthy, your blood, cholesterol, muscles, even if some factors aren't in your control, that's what matters.
Not too much either way.
And accept yourself at any extreme or any middle point, but not to resign yourself, but to see from there where you need to move to be healthy. Could we say that, right? If you weigh 550 pounds, just to exaggerate, accept yourself. That's who you are, and you shouldn't do anything drastic because of it. I accept who I am today.
But work on it.
But from there, exactly.
For your body. You love yourself so much that you want to live longer. I don't think anyone would say, oh, no, not me, I'm done. Tomorrow, that's it for me. Well, now we're talking about other topics there. But if you really want to have self-love, then love yourself enough to do something for yourself. Basically, give your body health, give your body total well-being.
Totally. And here comes this part too, like, there's no better tool in life to achieve any goal than your body. Right? I mean, I imagine that every day, everything you do, you use your whole body. So I don't understand why people mistreat themselves or why we often mistreat ourselves so much. Maybe it's a lack of education about nutrition and all that. Today is a wake-up call for everyone to start taking care of themselves again. That's real love. What do you feed your body and mind?
I thought about separating the topic of fitness from wellness. Here, I'm not asking you to get fit, I'm asking you to be well because wellness is exactly health. Instead, you want to reach a point where your knees and back don't give out. You can get pregnant because then many people say, my body works perfectly. Can you get pregnant? You want to get pregnant so much, but you can't get pregnant. You have ovaries, polycystic ovary syndrome, which means there are many things that can be changed due to weight. So what happens now? It's hard, it's difficult, so people say, it's so hard that I'd rather be against it.
Yes.
Because you say, it's so delicious to eat cakes, and I don't. I'm saying it's also very hard for me. But that's what life is about, because the hard things are what are really worth it.
Do you think people dislike the words process and discipline? Sometimes we may not relate to them.
Well, it's just that we all want things right away, especially because we live in a world where we have everything at the click of a button. Yes, it's incredible. I just grab my phone when I'm bored, and suddenly I'm not bored. So, when they tell you that you need time to see changes, oh, you know what? It's better to just accept yourself as you are. Well, yes, of course, it's the easiest way.
Now it's really trendy, and I'm not trying to criticize or judge, but it's very trendy, the fast way. Getting abs done, getting surgery here or there, and not going through the process of becoming naturally fit, no?
What am I saying there? I have a point, it's kind of weird, and maybe people wouldn't think I'd say this. I have nothing against surgeries, actually, if you want to get surgery. Awesome, go for it. But what happens? There's a lot of misinformation here. So, let's suppose someone gets a tummy tuck. Many doctors tell you and you say, I'm positive and I'll make it. I don't know why you don't say it sooner. What I'm getting at is the doctor is going to say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to remove the fat from your belly and do your abdomen. This will never look like a natural abdomen, but let's say you don't mind that, okay? They're going to put you on bed rest for at least a month. Most will say 3 months. You'll need to stay in bed without moving for a month. What will you do when you're bored in bed? Eat, yes, you start eating and eating. Let's say you don't eat junk food. You eat normally, you start gaining weight because obviously your energy expenditure is super low, yes, because you're not moving. For example, during my pregnancy, I didn't gain weight from eating sandwiches and hamburgers. I gained weight because I ate like I did when I was active but stopped moving. Same thing, really.
It's about calorie expenditure?
No, I wasn't burning as many calories, so I started gaining weight because I kept eating the same healthy foods. Salmon, fish, chicken, beef. But then, let's suppose you're not that fit, obviously because you're getting a tummy tuck. They make you rest for at least 3 months. You gain about 5 kilos. And now what happens is that many times they put some tubes in you to remove fat, right? I'm not sure if they still use that technique, but they remove fat from these areas. When your body gains weight, some areas run out of fat cells, so it looks for new places to store fat. Wherever there are fat cells, you gain weight in those areas. So your belly looks kind of weird. I mean, you don't gain weight evenly, but in little parts.
Okay?
And that's where it stops.
You have to start exercising again.
It's like, well, brother, you gained weight. Let's say you didn't gain weight in your belly, you gained it somewhere else, right? But, the doctor said, I'll move belly fat to your butt so you'll look gorgeous. And you thought, oh, I'll have a butt. They took fat from all over and put it in your butt, then made you rest for 3 months. Obviously, you can't exercise because you just had surgery, you gained weight, and you're like, oh no, I don't like this belly anymore. I don't know, my arms, I want to gain weight. Well, I mean, I want to lose weight. You start dieting a little, honey. Guess what you had injected in your butt? Fat. And guess what's going to happen when you start losing weight? Because your body doesn't just lose weight from the part you want. Your body loses weight from everywhere. So goodbye surgery, goodbye money. Many people get surgery expecting great results, but you can't be sure the effects will last.
Sure, they want it to be like a mold, and they're going to make it perfect for you.
You might say, well, they leave it like that and I just don't move at all. Well, good luck maintaining it, but let's be realistic. We have Christmas, we gain weight. All of us, we go on a trip, we gain weight. We had a loss in our life, something happened, it goes away. Sometimes life brings ups and downs in our weight.
Discussing ups and downs, but first I want a special guest. Karen, my wife, will bring the podcast's most honored guest. Let's see if she'll show her face.
Oh, how beautiful. There she is, Karen.
She is Loretta. She's the daughter of Oscar and Jace. Yes, she's the daughter of Oscar and Joss, my future goddaughter. I'm going to be your godfather for something, and niece, right? Clearly. Lifetime and this, and she loves the microphone and her hand, also talking about highs and lows. Welcome to the podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm the next content creator.
Never seen Johnny so tender before?
And I see Karen over there who's making a lot of gestures for me to smile at the camera. Well,
look, what do you want?
Look, that's the microphone. Are you ready for stardom like mom and dad? Hey, speaking of highs and lows, what's up with insecurities in women? When you obviously start having a pregnancy body that a lot of people would say, oh, I'm starting to gain weight, and obviously later in the postpartum period, and what role can we men, the partners, play to help them in that process? Because I imagine there are insecurities, like maybe he won't love or desire me as much anymore. How can we men support in that situation?
Well, that really does happen. I think, well, unless you're the typical super skinny girl who only has a little belly, many of us let ourselves go during pregnancy. It's not just your belly that gets bigger. Everything does, and you get cellulite too. So insecurities are going to be there, 100%, it's normal, but I do think that for men, it's all the time. You look beautiful, my love. I love your baby bump. Now, really complimenting each other, but like every day, the man shouldn't forget to compliment you. He should also talk to the baby inside. Okay.
That you feel like he's experiencing this with you, that he helps you reflect and even tells you other stories beyond what your hormones are telling you, probably, right?
Look, when we're pregnant, we're a little difficult, so having a little patience because there will be arguments. That's a reality. So what Oscar and I used to do was that we would start arguing and Oscar would say to me, if you stay angry, the baby is going to look like me. That's why she looks like him. So, lesson learned?
Teach, don't get upset. She won't resemble your wife.
Anyway, that's where the argument stopped. It was clear she wouldn't look like me. Then we'd just relax. But also Oscar would tell me, my love, everything you feel, she feels too, so relax and don't stress. Or, for example, sometimes I wanted to cry because things frustrated me, like, oh, it's just that the hormones hit you really hard. So he would tell me, my love, don't cry, she's going to cry, she feels everything. So because of the love I had for her, I would say, okay, I have to relax, I'm not going to cry, which is really hard, but in the end, you do it. For many who want to be moms, you just say, okay, I'll do it for her.
And I mean, this is a question for both you and Oscar, but well, let's see what answer we get here. But obviously, besides talking nicely to them and being patient and all that, it's important for you. Like, I don't know, like when we court them and win them over, I mean, it really affects their self-esteem. Loretta, I need the microphone. Loretta, we need it. Let's see, do you think it truly affects your self-esteem? Or are those insecurities just passing moments? Or do you really have to start from scratch again to believe that you're attractive, that you're okay?
Yes, it's temporary since pregnancy is temporary, but it changes everything, even your face. I didn't feel pretty because my face and cheeks were so chubby. Oscar would say, "That's not true, honey. You're exaggerating, treating me like I was crazy." But honestly, it helps when he says, "That's not true, my love." No, you're not exaggerating, and I'd say, "Good, I'm exaggerating. I wasn't chubby cheeked, but thinking that brought me peace."
Let them tell you, okay?
Most people would say no, and I doubt anyone would say, "Yes, you're chubby." And also the fact that if I'm pregnant, you're pregnant too. So if I feel like having chips, do you eat chips too? I don't care if you're going to gain weight too.
And Oscar, no, I don't want to lose these biceps.
No, come on, he also gained weight with me willingly.
The fact that making you see that everything had a greater purpose. If you got upset because you couldn't go in and they asked, "Are you having a high-risk pregnancy?" I understand. My recommendation would be to take it easy. It's okay, it's just 9 months, and after that, go ahead and give it your all.
That's beautiful, and I'm going to say it in case it wasn't picked up by the microphone. But Oscar, Jules' husband, says that as men, we can also remind women that all of this is for a greater purpose. To aesthetics, to vanity, to these kinds of things. That they see what a beautiful purpose it is to give life to such a beautiful baby. And even more so in a high-risk pregnancy. It was high risk, I didn't know.
The thing is, it took us a long time to get pregnant, so we did a treatment, and the treatment made me ovulate more. I was hoping it would work since many people have tried this treatment without success. We have friends who've done it 8 times and still aren't pregnant. So, right?
What could it be? I mean, I'm so healthy, what could go wrong?
I visited the gynecologist who examined me and said I have polycystic ovary syndrome, which is common. I asked her, "How do you treat it?" She told me, "Well, by exercising and eating well." And I was like, "Well, how do I explain this to you, of course, right?" So she told me, "Look, you could have a normal baby like in 2 or 3 years if you manage to get pregnant. With luck, in 3 years you'll get pregnant." And I was like, "How? I want to get pregnant today and have the baby tomorrow." And she also told me, "I can make you ovulate because polycystic ovary syndrome means your eggs, ovaries. No, your ovaries are very small. On one hand, it's hard for them to get fertilized, so treatment makes you ovulate to produce more eggs. That's the treatment, not the syndrome." So it was easier then?
And for the other 3 who are hoping to have children, do you think you're going to go through the same thing?
We could try earlier, and if nothing happens after a year or 2, I'll do this. But inducing ovulation could result in twins or triplets.
Wow, so we might have triplets next time?
Maybe.
Great.
She could have been.
Hey, community podcast here. Awesome, really great. Let's move to the last part of the podcast. I could gossip here for hours and soon we'll need a double date episode. Let's bring in the husbands and gossip there, okay? Do you live in Dubai? Okay, I think all your followers know that. I don't know if mine do, but Joss, along with Loretta, her daughter, and Oscar, her husband, live in Dubai. I want to ask you 2 questions. What brought you to Dubai?
That's a good one, because everyone asks us that.
That's an important one. And do you see Loretta living according to the customs here? Those would be my 2 questions, all right?
Those are 2 good ones, huh?
They're good?
Huh? It's funny, we talked about the Dubai thing a long time ago on YouTube, but I'm a disaster on YouTube. I don't even remember my password. Imagine this, but well, anyway. Oscar and I traveled to Dubai during the pandemic and we said, wow, this place is amazing. We went to gyms, we always work out while we travel. It's part of what we enjoy, right?
Okay.
So at the gym, an Arab guy comes up to us. Well, I don't know if he was Arab. I mean, at that moment, I didn't know if he was Arab. No, but he was wearing the tunic, that white one, or that white thing, right, with his little hat. And he asked Oscar, okay, for his Instagram, and well, Oscar was like, oh, I'll give it to you, and that was it. But anyway, it was just something random, right? Because also, In that gym called Binus, there are a lot of Arabs and, well, they're people with a lot of money. The thing is, we went back as usual. We were both in Mexico just staying in because it was the pandemic. And then we got a message from this man. He said, "Hey, I saw that you have the account for the O Challenge, which is the account for our challenge transformations. I'd like you to train me and, if possible, my family too." I told Oscar no, honey. It felt odd since he just asked for our Instagram, like, "Hello, can I have your Instagram?"
Which city was this in?
Here,
You came and got to know each other?
we came on a trip.
That's all. Okay, okay.
And he told us that, well, he told Oscar if he would train him, and I told him, "No, honey. That sounds really weird. What if it's something strange? We don't know anything about him." Yes, yes. And Oscar said, "Let's see, let's have Zoom calls. Let's see what he proposes in the Zooms too." I was like, "Oh, I'm not very convinced. It's really weird." I mean, because he said, "I'll pay you well. You just have to train me 1 or 2 hours a day." And I was like, "He's paying you too much." I mean, because in Mexico, a trainer doesn't really earn what they were going to pay us here, because obviously here it was so you could have your life, because they were going to pay for our apartment, everything.
It felt like everything was arranged for you. It seemed too good to be true.
It sounds too good to be true, and the salary doesn't make sense to me, especially for just a trainer. He said, "I saw your challenge transformation and want that too. But here with the Arabs, people expect everything done for them. When we arrived, we realized that's normal. They bring everyone over. It's super common for them to bring people from cycling, from studios, from biking, mostly Mexican people, also waiters. They bring everyone because here they don't hire Arabs. Because here an Arab earns 20 times more than a regular person."
Even when offered a good salary.
Well, Arab, I mean Emirati, meaning they were born here in Dubai, because there are many Arabs in all these cities. But yes, an Emirati earns 20 times more than a regular person. So that's why people bring, or the Emiratis hire foreign employees.
Well, is it cheaper to hire someone from outside and give them an apartment and salary and everything than to hire an Emirati?
That's right.
They offer them good money.
And the foreigners who come, well, they already come with a job. I mean, they come with a work visa because they get it themselves, or, well, yes. Or to invest, where you're no longer job hunting. I mean, to put in large sums like buying houses for the golden visa and similar purposes. So, well, look, Oscar told me we have to pack our things. If it goes wrong, we come back. If it goes well, we stay. When we first arrived, look, the person was... The Emirati trained daily, constantly. Oscar would start training him at 7 in the morning, then I began training his wife. We were never able to document them. It was kind of frustrating because I record everything. I mean, I literally record everything. But because with Emiratis, if you didn't know, you can't record them. I mean, if you're in the square and you record one and they see you, it's jail. Well, if they report you.
Yeah, okay, it's punishable.
It's just that Emiratis have a lot of rules in their lives. And obviously, since they don't train with the abaya, that tunic, you can't record them like that. And even less so the women. Women can only wear normal clothes when they're among other women. But when men are present...
No one else can see them except their husband? No,
Her husband, her children. Men also wear white. Not because others can't see them, but simply because they wear it. Like, for pleasure?
Yes.
Is it always just the little couple in white and black with their kids out of tradition?
Yes. Then he began training hard.
How lovely. You trained them for 4 months, 5 months.
5 months?
And suddenly, well, that's when these people have a lot of money. So they would go on trips all the time, trip after trip after trip. And then it was like, oh, well, Oscar would send him online what he had to do, or they would connect by webcam. And okay, now the attitude, now this, now that. And then they went to Spain for about 2 months, or, well, the husband went to Spain for 2 months. And that's when he told Oscar, "If you want, come with us to Spain." And Oscar said no to Spain. It's better if we continue online. We're fine online, okay? Like, he didn't have a problem with online because he already wanted us to leave. I mean, and I thought, well, what are these people like that they just send us back like that? So, well, the thing is that everything stayed online, and after a while, it just kind of ended, right?
I was taking a break for the month and training physically one day. Okay, yes.
I trained him once or twice a month, yeah.
I love it and it's fine for me. This is life. But honestly, I feel like...
Okay, so Oscar, as he says, didn't like charging.
Yeah, after training him a few times, it was okay.
Obviously, you liked it.
But it's not very ethical.
Values, of course.
You might say, just pay me less or something like that. So, well, we stopped working with him and...
Just 6 months?
After here, we looked for a way to pay for the visa here and everything was fine.
And what? Where did you start living from? Did you have some savings or what?
At that time, well, he was paying for us to stay in an apartment, and since here you pay rent by the year,
You had another 6 months. Okay. And what about groceries?
well,
We had other businesses.
Okay. You had other businesses. Okay. And did you feel like a catch with Dubai right away?
we also used all our savings. Don't forget that.
So you had to in the beginning, right?
With little money,
Just barely making it?
that was all we had.
Why did you choose to stay in Dubai instead of Spain, Miami, or Mexico? What made you feel Dubai was the right place for you?
Well, Dubai is very safe. I remember perfectly that once we were at a gas station, it was 11 at night, well, around 10 at night. And suddenly we saw a little girl on her tricycle with those light up sneakers. Yeah. The girl was about 6 years old, maybe 8. She gets off at the little store like an OXXO at 11 at night. She bought some chips, a chocolate, puts her bag in the basket of her tricycle, and leaves. And I'm like, honey, that girl is alone. I mean, when are you going to see that in Mexico? Yeah, even at my age, I still say no. The bag, they're going to break my window.
Yeah, sadly.
So that really impacted us. Or for me, it was like, and then we would go anywhere, kids alone, just like that, alone. And I would say, where are the parents? Running everywhere by themselves. I thought it was crazy. Then I saw girls going for a run at 9 or 10 at night in little shorts and a top. In the dark, I would think, what kind of craziness is this? That was one part. Like the safety was like, wow, yes, but incredible. But thinking more about the future, like imagine if we have kids here. So we already wanted to have kids. We were already talking about Loretta, and then we also started going to gyms. And it was like half the people were influencers. Okay, everyone recording themselves and like today I'm gonna, and I was like, what is this? So I felt like, no, I'm already here. Of course, I've never been embarrassed to record myself. I mean, if you find me somewhere, look, I take out my phone, I record in front of everyone, I laugh, I say silly things. I mean, I've never been embarrassed to record myself in front of people, right? I mean, I'm not embarrassed, but here it was like, wow, this is really cool.
You mentioned people even brought filmmakers to the gym, and the gym didn't charge the filmmakers for it.
The filmmaker gets in free. It's normal here. Record yourself, no problem. It just makes sense. It's like if I'm going to post you on my Instagram, you're going to have a lot of eyes watching you. A lot of people might say, hey, what gym do you train at? I want to train there. Of course, of course. I mean, in Mexico, it's free advertising, of course.
I don't think that's possible in Mexico.
No, they don't let you record in any gym, right? And well, all my content is at the gym. Yes.
En Dubai sí hay estudios.
Wow, to rent them?
To rent them, I mean,
Oscar to my left tells me, right now we're going to do a wide shot of how all this looks so people can see. Oscar, let the unlucky guy come in now, and Karen is here too. I mean, we're filming everyone right now. You said there are 100 podcast studios?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow, I mean, yes, that's what I came to the 1 billion summit, 1 billion follower summit for creators, and there I discovered a whole new world, or a cradle that wants to make all the most important content creators flourish. The truth is, it's incredible that Dubai is supporting so much.
as an influencer, they support you because you promote everything.
Yes.
Publicity isn't about telling you to buy something. It's just that simple. It could be that someone saw the plant and said, hey, I love that plant, I want it in my house, and looked for it on Amazon, found it, and bought it. Sure, well then, okay.
Of course, aside from security, what else stood out to you? I mean, for example, I know that here it's 90% foreigners. It's not that it's 99% people, like super traditional, right? With super particular beliefs, Arab and so on, but it's very open, it's very globalized. But did you feel welcomed, like embraced with warmth, or did you feel that the atmosphere here was kind of cold? Because in Mexico, you know, that's what characterizes us the most, right? Like how nice people are or how friendly people are. How did you feel here?
I think you don't really feel that warmth because Mexican people, not to brag, but honestly, we're the best nationality when it comes to giving affection, service, charisma, smiles. Yes, I mean, Mexican people are like, when a foreigner arrives, they welcome them, right? Here, people come from all over the world, not just Emiratis. In fact, it's hard to have Emirati friends since only 10% are Emiratis. And it's like they're in their own areas, yeah, but when it comes to friends, they're all from England, from Russia, from everywhere.
so they can tell us, I've already invited, and come on, my love, come to the podcast. Josie and I will keep leading the way, but it's cool. I've never done this before. It's already a family thing. Oscar is just helping us set up. Look, there we are. Loreta, say hello.
Hello.
Hey, so now this podcast will last 8 hours since we're starting over, right? But really, it's just great that we can do something so natural like this. And I think now, not just because of the connection that I think we both felt, but I was also watching, and let's see, what can you tell me about this too? Now that social media is as natural as can be, did you notice that Instagram trend from 2016? It's like, I've always tried, even though sometimes I can't help but be natural. From what I hear from you, you too. But now it's like that's going to be celebrated a lot, that it happens, especially with so much artificial intelligence that's so perfect.
That's what I was going to say.
Because what makes us beautiful as human beings is our imperfections. How do you two see that?
Oh, honestly, I love it because we're losing people's essence with artificial intelligence. And what I mean is, do you think lives are perfect? No, lives aren't perfect. I think people follow me because they relate to parts of my personality. I mean, maybe there are a lot of people who don't even follow me for fitness. A lot of people follow me because, oh, this girl is so happy. She laughs all the time. She's very real. I mean, if, I don't know, my nose starts running, hopefully that doesn't happen. But I leave the story as it is. I mean, I post it just the way it is, right?
Okay, and that has worked for you from what I can see. I mean, it's something that has really connected with people, right? People really celebrate you for that.
That's true. And honestly, I would say always keep your essence. Don't try to be perfect because you won't connect with people. And it's better to be loved for who you are. No, it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not.
That phrase.
I'd rather be loved by 3 people than liked by 100 for pretending to be someone else.
So, would you consider, Oscar and Joe, the engagement that I see you have? Because I see that every post you make gets a huge response. It has hundreds of thousands of likes or views or whatever. Is that why? So, you guys try to stay authentic?
I really do think she's the most authentic influencer that will ever exist. And I've always said that Joe is the best influencer on the planet. Part of what he does as a great creator is adapt to new trends. We have a lot of team backup suddenly when it comes to strategies and so on, and it's something we talked about a few months ago. We believe that artificial intelligence is heading towards it's growing so quickly and becoming so overwhelming that it will eventually be too much for everyone. That we're going to take a very drastic leap from 100% artificial intelligence to 100% human.
Like back to the roots.
I recently saw a specific case involving an artist. I'm unsure if her name is Rosalinda, Rosalia, or something similar. I think she's a reggaeton singer, Rosalia, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's Rosalia.
She just released a new album where everything is acoustic, and her branding was nothing in this album is made with AI or synthesizers. And I think that's where we're headed. I think that emerging businesses in 5 years will be 100% human, 100% about touch. Retreats, masterminds with trips where you interact with real people because it was overwhelming. I think that's where things are headed.
Yeah, it's nice, right? We've often noticed how perfect everything looks, the colors, the people, but that's really messing with us, with our self-esteem. Well, with self-esteem, you know it better than I do. The bodies you see, you can't achieve them, so it's nice. Well, I like knowing that we're going to start over. Doesn't it feel like a total restart?
Completely.
How do you see it? Or when you guys post something more natural, does it get more engagement, or is it us?
We've never been ones to post. I mean, like I said, I've never been an influencer, not even when it comes to outfits. I mean, there are people who, oh my gosh, I say, how can they wear that outfit in this cold? But in Paris, yes, La Llamada.
In Paris, you'd see some women in mink coats, and with the 3 of us there, they'd suddenly take them off.
And I would make a face, and then with my auntie clothes like Aunt Teta with her Skechers, it's just that they're comfortable. Really, I swear. But I was like, well, no. I mean, am I really on my trip and enjoying it like this? Or why pretending to wear an outfit that a lot of people here are going to wear?
Yes.
I really think that...
I think, will you tell me, love? But people seem to use social media more to seek validation. Yes, and it's more about ego than adding value. What do you think?
The ego, yes, but I feel like nowadays we're going to start losing it. I mean, a little bit. This trend we saw today on Instagram from 2016, I feel like it kind of leads us to that, to lowering our ego, seeing the post that used to be without filters that you uploaded. I don't know, like eating at your grandma's house, that was an Instagram post. Yes, in 2016 you'd say, wow, how? And now it's eating at a restaurant.
All aesthetic.
Yes, all aesthetic this way.
At least in the photo.
From the exhibition down, yes?
It looks awesome. Yeah, I feel like we're going to come back a bit.
Do you think this will become popular in fitness?
We've been using artificial intelligence a lot, mainly on the business side and back end. We use it a lot, obviously for information technology development, basically platforms, etc., mainly automations, but the content part has always been done very organically. We hardly use any artificial intelligence, neither for scripting nor for writing scripts.
But do you think is our set falling apart? Is everything already, look, beautiful audience of Conquista tu Mundo, everything we had to do exactly, we're so organic that we even had to do this just to reach you. And I already forgot what I was going to say. But on a fitness level, thank you, love, on a fitness level, do you think that people, because with social media, fitness has exploded, everyone wanted to look good in the photos, and that, do you think people will also relax a bit more, like wanting to be super mega fit, or do you think that's here to stay?
A lot of people create content without even being fit, and that's okay, because in the end, it's like I'm sharing what I teach you. However, I think that when it comes to, for example, selling a product, you do at least need to have something. The theoretical part and the other part, the practical part, because it's like, look, I show you that I know it and that I also apply it to my own body. And it makes sense because many times it's happened to us that, for example, someone throws hate at me, like, right? Like those abs, you have to do all those ab exercises to look like that. And I'm like, brother, that's what I do and that's how I look and it works. Of course, and you don't have abs, so then show me which ones you do. I mean, it's really easy to say no, but I'm showing you that it really works. Of course, I'll show you. It's like visiting a dentist. You want to see their teeth and make sure they're healthy, right?
But here is the example.
You must lead by example, but I also love certain accounts. It's like day 1 of losing 20 kilos, follow me. Then day 2, day 3, and so on. If you keep following, they actually lose weight. And that motivates you because it's also a real person, which is what I'm doing with my account right now. Because it's like, after my pregnancy, when I gained 6 kilos, in a pregnancy, you're supposed to gain about 9 to 11 kilos, but I gained 16. That was because of the tacos. Yes, but well, Oscar also gained weight with me, so it wasn't so bad. Okay, right now I'm in the process of trying to get my body back, you know? So I'm showing you that I know how to do things, but I'm also showing you through my results, okay? So it's also motivating to see a real person doing things, okay?
Hey, and to wrap things up, now this really is the end of this beautiful family podcast. Thank you for having us on your set, and it was great how we connected. Honestly, a lot of the people who follow me want to find a beautiful love, and I always tell them that, well, that beautiful love starts with yourself. And a lot of that has to do with what we talked about, right? Taking care of yourself, exercising, eating well, being mindful of what you put into your mind and all of that. But now that we're talking as a couple, if you could share 2 things, like the 2 main or most important things that you both try not to lose in your relationship. For daily life, what practical advice would you give? You mentioned communication. What else would you suggest?
You and me, let's say you go first.
One by one, what do you think?
Odd one out, come on.
Come on.
I don't know, rock, paper, scissors for 2, rock, paper, scissors. I think the first thing is that all relationships are agreements, and that just like in business. Actually, I really agree with your point of view as a company. I'll tell you why. When you mentioned, could you say that we define it as a company? It might seem like a trick question because it seems like there's a monetary interest.
Yes, that's right.
But no, I disagree with that, and I think your question was more aimed at that point of view, which is, even governments are businesses, of course, because you have to work for the common good, and because there are a lot of factors involved. And everything is about optimizing something, in this case a business, because we optimize love, coexistence, growth, etc. So having said that, I think that while there are agreements that need to be discussed, there has to be a lot of communication, and we need to know that we're on the same page. Also know that companies lose money, make mistakes, have bad days, and that the success of a company lies in making mistakes quickly and cheaply. That's what I believe. Because if you think you're going to have a business where everything is profit and success, that's not going to happen. That's reality, and you're only going to get frustrated. And it's the same with relationships.
I like that, and I like the idea of cheap because it means not making a big deal out of the mistake or paying a high price for it. I mean, try to get over it as soon as possible without repressing it like we talked about, but don't make it bigger than it is, right? That's what it means.
And if you don't learn from your mistakes, it's something that will repeat itself over and over again, whether in business, marriage, or dating. None of us watching or listening to this podcast is perfect. We all make mistakes, from minor ones like leaving underwear out to being cold, unfriendly, or unaffectionate. These issues can be addressed if you're united and moving in the same direction. Love is the most important thing.
Totally agree with that, and you said it beautifully, and you also clarified that question a lot, so thank you very much. You speak so well, Joe. Now we understand why you make people fall in love.
Yes, hey, the podcast should have been with him.
Sure, we'll do another one later, but Joe, what about you? What's something that stands out, something you could say daily? I'm keeping this in mind to help my relationship progress.
I think something I learned from my past relationships that works for me nowadays with Oscar. It's a problem that happened in the past, it stays in the past. I don't know why women, well, actually I do know because we love drama and we love the whole but if that problem already happened, don't bring it up again next time because we're like that. But last time you told me, oops, you did this to me, but you told your mom, but what about your friends? And like that, we're always bringing things up and it's like we had already solved that problem. So we all have problems in our relationships, we all have conflicts, but they need to be left behind, they need to be resolved. It was resolved well, I mean, don't leave anything unresolved, solve it properly, and once it's resolved, you don't bring up the topic again. So, if we argue again, nothing. But do you remember what you did to me last time? No, that's already in the past, because if you bring it up again, then you didn't really forgive them, did you?
That's right, you accumulate weapons.
Exactly, that's all. So you're just waiting for the glass to fill up so it overflows and everything explodes, right? So you argue the glass fills up a little bit, okay? We resolve the conflict and get rid of all that water. Because if not, there will come a point where you're going to explode and say, you just don't understand me, you just don't get it. But neither of you has healed those parts from those fights? Yes, so you have to heal. And a lot of times we say, you know what, just to avoid so many problems, I just go along with it like, okay, honey, it's fine. But no, you're not fine. You keep holding it in, and no, that's not okay. What is it that makes you feel this way? Why are you like this? Yes, tell me, talk to me about it. Even if we get angry, the problem must be fully resolved. After that, we don't mention it again.
I agree, and I love it because the foundation of those two things you mentioned is communication. Love, it's your turn, and with that, I'll say goodbye. What would you say? That it's like what you and I have been trying to work on more in order to move forward.
I think that the greatest demonstration of love for me, when your partner shows you love and wants to build something with you, is that they want everything. Where do problems come from? They want to make changes and improvements so the relationship continues to grow. So I feel that for me, that's the most important thing and what we're building nowadays.
So it's clear they genuinely want to resolve things.
To solve and change those issues you have.
Like the childhood wound or the way they argue.
Of course, those things are totally yours, and that's really hard because it affects the other person's ego. And many times the other person isn't willing to let their guard down and say, okay, this is mine, I want to change it.
Completely.
On the other hand, if people had in mind, this is mine, I can change it, and I'm going to change it for myself and to show my partner how much I love them.
Of course, because we're experts at pointing fingers at others, right? Absolutely. And many times, or most of the time, we don't look at ourselves. So how can you communicate, as you said, if you don't know what you want to express or need? And most importantly, what is yours and what isn't?
I also think it's a lack of assertiveness. Many couples want something that they don't communicate, not in the right way, or they simply don't communicate it at all and just take it for granted. They say, damn. I'd prefer it that way, but I don't mention it, and the other person says they'll do it since it doesn't bother them. So it's an assumption, a terrible assumption from both sides, and then they're in a super destructive loop.
Or they don't try to understand it. Why is that person like that?
Yes, also
I mean, why? What kink of history?
highly customizable. These types of traumas and problems that we all have, and they torment us in some way. Issues of ego, insecurities. We often want things, but when we don't understand them, we question if that's how it is and give up after the first attempt.
Yeah, that's really complicated. And right there, I want to ask you, Oscar, as a man, Joe said earlier he didn't want to get married, he didn't want to have kids. That's very common among men, especially when they reach a certain level of financial success with women, blah, blah, blah. What would you say to the Oscar of the past? Now that you have a daughter and a husband and you're kind of living this part?
Well, that question could be for another podcast, totally, but I'll try to be like this. Long, short story. A few months ago, I would have even told you that I regretted it. I used to regret all the mistakes I made in my life, and after every fall, I would always blame myself for it. But I understood, after a lot of self-reflection and introspection, that I did what I could with what I had at that moment, and those are things I can't blame myself for. Because thanks to all those mistakes and all that darkness and trash, whatever you want to call it, that was part of me, which I cannot deny. I am who I am today and continue growing daily for a greater good, inspired by what you bring to me. Well, that sounded really weird.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but only in your messed up head.
Josefit, my daughter, and what I have here, this is what life is all about. So if I could tell him something, it would be to stop being so hard on himself, but to break the pattern, because it is possible.
Okay? Would you also tell him to get married and have a daughter?
Absolutely. I think it's the decision. My 3 wisest decisions are marrying Joe, having a daughter, and moving to Dubai.
Wow, that's beautiful. And with that, I think I'll say goodbye. Plus, you've given me double inspiration to have kids and come to Dubai. Because married, I'm already happy with an amazing woman, but it's so nice to see couples who are making it work. Many people who follow me want to be in my position, as you can see. Work on yourselves, observe yourselves, communicate, put all your effort into practice, not just inspiration, and understand, as everyone said, that it's one day at a time, knowing there will be mistakes, that it's like a business. Some months bring losses, others gains, but the goal is achieving the common good and a positive outcome, not just doing the math.
You said it perfectly.
Thank you so much. Our set is falling apart.
Thank you.
Thank you to Oscar, my love. Thank you, Joe, especially Joe. Well, we tried really hard here and we made it. And thank you for giving us the honor of holding your daughter and being with you. It was beautiful. Thank you for hosting us, for all the ways you spoiled us. Now, when you're in Mexico, it's your turn to do the same. Well, my beautiful people, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more podcasts like this one. This was, I think, the most original one I've ever done in my life. With great guests, sending hugs and kisses. See you next time. Bye. Applause. Subscribe, show some love.